word day in Genesis 1 and 2. And we're coming to a question that a lot of folks ask. When yam is used with a number, okay, either an ordinal or a cardinal, and Jason, explain what an ordinal and a cardinal is. When yam is used with a number in the Old Testament, does this show it always must be a 24-hour day?
Okay, well, first of all, cardinal would be a number like a 1, 2, 3, and then ordinal would be first, second, third. Now, the first day of creation, it uses the cardinal number, 1 day. There was evening, there was morning, 1 day. And that's probably because it's defining what a day is. A day is an evening and a morning. You put the two together, you get a complete day. And so I think it makes a very strong case for a day in an ordinary sense as opposed to a longer period of time, again, because they're in that syntagmatic relationship. Now, the other days of creation, you can have another evening, another morning. You get a second day, a third day, a fourth day, a fifth day. Then it says the sixth day, and because it's special. It's the last day of creation where God makes Adam and Eve. And then the seventh day, because it's special as well. It was the day where God rested, and God blessed it and sanctified it, God's special day of rest.
Why didn't God use there was evening and there was morning on that last day?
Well, again, it might be because it was a very special day, a day that God sanctified. It certainly doesn't mean it's a longer period of time. I mean, the Bible doesn't say that last Thursday was bounded by evening and morning, but we can conclude that it was. So, I mean, just because it would be an argument of silence to say that it's because it doesn't have...
But do you find any other hints in the text itself of Scripture that would lead you that that may not be the right conclusion?
No, I can't find anything elsewise that would say, you know, that why the formula changes there. Seventh day is special. It's the day that God sanctified and blessed.
Okay, Walter, do you think there's any tips in the text?
No, I like Jason's explanation, and I think those are the exact correct things, except I do think that deliberately the seventh day was left open. Why? Because Scripture again says that, and that's the argument from Psalm 95, and then also from Hebrews 3 and Hebrews 4. But I think arguing 1, and then 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and then thus 6th and thus 7th is just writer's style, stylistic. Certainly, 7 doesn't take us up to 24 hours. So the point is they were in a series, and it's a series of divine acts by the spoken word. Just like in Matthew 8, nobleman says, look, Lord, just speak the word, and my servant will be healed. And he found out, when was it that he was healed? It was in the same moment that he spoke the word. So it's creation fiat, we call it. We use a Latin term there. It is a creation by virtue of the spoken word.
Dr. Kaiser, do you believe, as Dr. Ross does, that we're still in the seventh day now?
Yeah, I think Hebrews really speaks of that, God is still resting.
Could I just ask you a question then?
Yeah,
I mean, the
sure.
Lord blessed the Sabbath day. He sanctified it. If we're still in it now, I find it very hard to believe that a world full of evil as we see it, with all the death and suffering and children dying, starvation, that God would call that a blessed, sanctified day. And the other thing is that, you know, I know Dr. Ross believes in billions of years. If underneath the ground that Adam and Eve were standing on bones and cancer, because there's evidence of cancer and brain tumors in the fossil record, it's hard to understand how God would call all that very good and then bless the Sabbath, the Sabbath day, and sanctify it.
Can we hold on to that one till the next program when we talk about Adam and Eve? And let's let's finish up this thing on.
Well, I'd like to address the one-day
Yeah.
issue you brought up, that 1 day defines a 24-hour period, because we see that same phrase not just in Genesis 1:5, we see it in Zechariah 14:7, where 1 day now is referring to the day of the Lord, which all Bible interpreters agree is a long period of time. So I don't think we can use the 1 day formula.
Well, Zechariah 14:7 actually, if you read in context, is talking about too, before that, it talks about that day when Jesus descends and stands on the Mount of Olives. Now, he's not going to do that slowly over millions of years. He's going to do that in 1 day. And I think in context, you can say there that there's the word day being used in a prophetic sense, but it's talking about a particular day. There is a particular day when Jesus will return.
But if you look at Zechariah 14 in context, it's clearly dealing with the day of the Lord, which is a long period of time.
And if you go and read the initial bit before that, before 14:7, it talks about the day. There's that day, unique day, it says, when Jesus will stand on the Mount of Olives. It's talking about a unique day. It's one day.
Well, this is where we disagree, Ken.
well,
I mean, you've got your interpretation. We have
It's not a
ours.
matter of disagreeing. It's a matter of what the text says. Hugh.
Exactly. What does
And
the text
it's
say?
saying that Jesus descends and stands on it, and it says that day when he stands on the Mount of Olives. And then, you know, the other exception I know you bring up is Hosea 6:2,
Right.
where it says 2 days and 3 days. But every commentator I've looked up talks about the fact that that's an example of synonymous parallelism, which you see in that sort of writing. And that actually what it's talking about is the restoration of Israel. And it's saying, it's using a word, literal word day. See, if you're going to use something in a metaphorical sense, or something like that, it has to have a literal meaning first. And so you have to have the literal meaning of an ordinary day, 2 days, 3 days, to say this is going to be a short time. Otherwise, if it meant long times, it would be meaningless,
Well, for
and
the
it would
benefit
not
of
be
the
a
audience.
prophecy to
Whoa,
the Jews.
Hosea 6:2 says that Israel would be without a king for 1 day and then 2 days, and then the king would be restored. And if you just look at Israeli history, they've clearly been without a ruler for a couple of thousand years.
That's synonymous parallelism. And what it's using is the word literal day to talk about, you know, for instance, 2 days and 3 days. Well, if you could be talking about the restoration in regard to the temple, the wall, the temple, I mean, the captivity for 70 years. It was a short time. It was a promise. It was a promise to them. And so it's using a literary device using literal days. Is that
Ken,
not right, Dr.
I think
Kaiser?
what we're seeing
I
here...
give points to Hugh on that one, Ken, because Yom, the day of the Lord, Yom Yahweh is the expression there. It has a whole complex of events. Sure, it is the coming back of the Lord on the Mount of Olives, but that's not the only one. So there is a point action there, but there also is a linear action too.
Yeah,
and in the
there's
same way here
there's
with
both.
the
That's exactly
Hosea 6, 2, and 3, there is a speaking under the terms of day with a number along with it, which is what you asked for. And here it's embodying the whole history of Israel. So I think we're on the same side at that point. You're saying, yeah, that a number with the word day can't really be determinative because we've got two instances, one in Hosea and one in Zechariah, where they embody a group of events.
All right, hold on,
Dr. Kaiser,
guys.
can I say one thing?
We're out of time here. We'll pick this up.